Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so happy that you're with us today. This is a fun show today. Sometimes I get serious, sometimes I get thought-provoking, but today's just going to be fun. We're talking about sneaky signs that you're not as healthy as you think. And the reason this show came about, and there's always a reason behind every show we do, is that so many patients come to me, and I've been in practice now 37 years, come to us, I should say, and they have these, they fill out their paperwork, and I'll say, well, you didn't fill out a whole lot on the form here. Well, I'm pretty healthy. Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty healthy. I just need to get my stomach checked. I got a pain in my neck or whatever it is. Okay, great. So we go dig a little deeper into consultation, and then we end up finding all these things. And usually the people who write the least amount, I have the most amount to write about because people are in denial. And I just saw a podcast the other day is why people don't eat healthier. Well, they're in denial. Well, it's not going to happen to me. Well, I'm different. Well, I don't have any family history of genetics for cancer or heart disease, whatever. So that's not going to happen to me. So we, as a society, live in denial. And so I want you to come out of your denial. And if you have any of the symptoms we talk about, I'm going to tell you what to do about them. First, I'm going to start with is bad breath. Now, we've all been around people. I remember Seinfeld did a show about the close talkers. And we've all been around people that talk too close, and they stink. Now, there's really two types of bad breath. One of them is it's a rotten gum, it's periodontal issues, and that has a certain smell to it. That's something you need to go see a dentist for. It's out of my ballpark, out of my wheelhouse, my scope of practice, whatever you want to call it. If you have somebody who smells like potty, their breath just stinks like a bad bathroom or an outhouse, that's usually a sign of a digestive problem. So what happens is, if you're not digesting your food properly, let's assume you have acid reflux or heartburn, the stomach can be pushing up into the diaphragm. And when that happens, you're not breaking down your proteins properly. And so the proteins pass from the stomach into the small intestine. Small intestine can't do the stomach's job. And so the food essentially rots in the colon. When it rots, it gives off these carcinogenic gases, sulfur and methane. These gases can be absorbed into the blood system by way of through the colon. And as the gases are now floating around in the blood system, they get exchanged in the lungs. That's where oxygen gets exchanged. And these gases get exchanged in the lungs, comes out through the breath. So that's more than you probably need to know about potty breath. But that's a sign that somebody has a digestive problem. You cannot brush that one away. It's not something you can brush and floss and it goes away. So a couple of things we can do. Number one is if the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm, we can physically massage or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. And when we do that, the stomach relaxes. It starts to digest food more efficiently, passes into the small intestine. And I've had patients one treatment, and that potty breath goes away. Now, it's usually a lot more than one treatment, but every now and then you have these miracle patients. You pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. We check the nerves from the spine that go to the stomach, and that solves that problem. Now, it doesn't solve all their health problems. We're talking just specifically the potty breath. We may have to get the patient on digestive enzymes. Because when we're young, our body produces a lot of digestive enzymes, and it breaks down food easily, and that's why young kids are always hungry. If you ever tried to raise a teenager, especially teenage boys, they want to eat constantly. Their enzymes are high, they're digesting and metabolizing food quickly, they want more food. As we get older, our enzyme levels plummet. We don't digest food as efficiently as we used to. Now metabolism slows down, but we want to be able to break down that food as efficiently as we did when we were 16. And so I take something called Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes whenever I eat a cooked meal. So if I'm going to eat, if it's cooked broccoli, if it's cooked cauliflower, if it's cooked whatever, soup, split pea soup, I'm going to take a digestive enzyme. If I have a raw meal, and I try to have at least one raw meal a day, you then go ahead and you don't have to take the enzyme. Like right now, sitting in front of me here in the studio, I have some carrots. They're raw. So if I was going to eat carrots, or just as a snack, I wouldn't worry about my digestive system. I'm in good shape. But if I was going to eat something cooked, I always say take Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes. And they're on the website, drjoe.com. The problem with your digestive system could be lower than the stomach. You could have celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's. These are all inflammation, some of the smaller intestine, some of the larger intestine. It depends on where the inflammation is as to where the diagnosis is. And many times it's hard to figure that out unless you do an endoscope or, you do take a look around, maybe a biopsy. Bottom line is just stop doing the things that cause the inflammation. The two top foods I want you to cut out of your diet, or certainly cut back in your diet, are wheat and dairy products. Wheat and dairy cause an inflammatory reaction. And so you want to cut those out as quickly as you can. Especially people with things like celiac, you just have to cut out wheat. And it's like a miracle. I had a secretary one time. Her name was Nisla. And she didn't realize for years she had celiac. And she'd go into a drive-through place where they had breakfast served. And they knew her. They'd hear her voice, and they knew exactly what she wanted. And she got like 2 biscuits and a coffee or whatever it was. And she said, I thought everyone had diarrhea all day, every day. I just thought that's how everybody was. She didn't realize that she had a gluten intolerance. Wheat. Gluten's found in wheat. It's also found in barley and rye. And she cut that out, and her digestive system got better. So you may have to do a little digging to see what you think you might have a reaction to. And very simple, what you can do is go to our website, drjoe.com, and go into patient forms and print up something called a diet diary. And a diet diary, you can print it for free. It's yours. I don't know if you're printing it or not. And in the diet diary, you can just write down everything you're eating. Everything you're eating. If you have a snack, if you have a piece of gum, a candy, a mint, write it down. Then in the margin, write down your symptoms. I got a headache. I've got digestive issues. Put this all down there, and what will happen is we'll be able to figure out, many times you'll be able to figure out where the problem is coming from. So it's not hard to do that. It's really pretty simple, actually. So that's a little trick that you can do. But if you have somebody with that bad breath, it's actually a sign that there's something seriously wrong with their digestive system. So don't ignore it and don't go, oh, I'm going to put up with it. You might say, hey, listen, you know what? Why don't you go to Dr. Joe's website, drjoe.com, listen to this podcast or show or whatever you want to call it that he did, and maybe they'll get the hint. And if not, tell them. Because it's like saying, I don't know, you've got pus oozing out of your head. It's important for people to know that. Something's wrong. Bad breath is a sign. It's telling you something wrong. Now, if you eat garlic or something like that, that's different. You're going to have bad breath for a day. That's something different altogether. But I know I had a friend one time, terrible breath, couldn't get near him. And he, my breath don't stink. And then one day, literally, he had pus dripping out of his chin. His tooth was so infected, it ate through his jaw and created a pustule dripping out the bottom of his chin. Pretty serious situation, okay? And if you have infections in your gums, the same membrane that covers your gums covers your heart, you could actually lead to heart disease. And so it could be very, very serious. You don't want to play around with that. All right, other signs and symptoms that you have to take note of. If you study to lose weight unexpectedly, now we all want to lose weight, we want to stay trim, but if all of a sudden you're losing a lot of weight unintentionally, that could be a serious issue. Could be associated with diabetes, could be cancer, could be heart failure. So if that happens, make note and don't take that lightly. It's something you have to really seriously address. If your ankles get swollen, some people say, well, my ankles just swell. It's just how it is. I need to wear compression socks. Yeah, maybe. But there's 2 different types of swelling. I'm going to make you smarter than a lot of your doctors out there. There's pitting and non-pitting edema. Pitting edema is when you push on the swelling and the thumbprint sticks, kind of like you pushed it in Play-Doh. That would be pitting edema. That's serious. That could be a sign of kidney failure, could be congestive heart failure. That's not something you want to take lightly. Non-pitting edema, it's swollen, you push on it, springs right back. That's usually just a circulatory issue, not nearly as serious, still a problem, but not as serious as the pitting edema. So if your ankles swell, that becomes a big issue. Now, it's a concern because people just say, well, it's not that big a deal. My feet hurt. Let me get some different socks. Once again, these are warning signs. Warning signs that are telling you you're not as healthy as you think you are. And that's what this show is all about. If you're driving at night and you're getting older, and suddenly you start to see halos around cars coming at you, or it's really hard to drive even at dusk, that can be a big issue. Usually it's patients over 50, and they're bothered by symptoms, again, dim lights, halos. You should consider seeing an eye doctor. You might be developing cataracts. Pretty common, cataracts. I do find that if people take digestive enzymes on a regular basis, many times it lessens the cataracts. I've had some people actually be able to start driving again because the enzymes start to break down the proteins that are building up in the eyes and the pressure that's building up in there. But if it's a relatively easy surgery if you need it. Many times people after cataract surgery, their vision is better than it ever was before because the doctors can put in lenses and stuff like that. So don't muscle through that because you can't see at night. And you can get some real serious problem like hitting, me. And I don't want you hitting me because you can't see at night. And usually it's a simple surgery. Again, all surgeries can have complications. Nothing is simple, but generally speaking, it's a lot easier than some other surgeries that are out there. Now, talking about the eyes, if you have pain behind your eyes, and patients come to us all the time with headaches and neck pain and chiropractic care, we're really good at getting rid of back pain and headaches in most cases, not every case. We can't cure everybody. But in most cases, we get really good results when it comes to pain patients. And I am the only chiropractor in the whole state that's board certified in chiropractic and pain management and orthopedics and double board certified in nutrition. So I got 5 board certifications. So my team of doctors and I are pretty good at being detectives and getting to the cause of the problem, not just treating the symptoms. So if you have pain behind the eyes, it could be an eye issue. It could be headaches, but many times it's a sinus problem. And most sinus problems are really easy to deal with because you're causing them yourself. Now, if there's pollen in the air, if there's dust or smoke, yeah, I understand that. But if you're eating, go back to these again, wheat and dairy products, those are the 2 most mucus-producing foods. And there have been a lot of doctors out there over many, many years talk about the mucusless diet and how mucus is the cause of all disease. A lot of people say they have the cause of all disease. But mucus is always a sign of inflammation, and inflammation is a sign that there's something wrong. So the 2 foods, if you have sinus issues, you have to stop eating now, are going to be wheat and dairy products. Now, dairy products, number 1 food allergen, wheat, the number 2 food allergen. And alcohol can do it too, like beer, especially beer because it has yeast in it, and yeast can cause inflammatory reactions. And it can have barley in it, and barley can cause it, and has gluten in it. So there is such a thing as gluten-free beer. I used to know a gal, and she liked to drink beer. And she had the worst gas and bad breath, and it was just horrible. And I told her about gluten-free beer. And she found it, she tried it, and most of her digestive problems went away. Now, you shouldn't drink beer. I got to preface by saying you shouldn't be drinking beer anyway. But if you're going to drink beer, gluten-free is a non-alcoholic, of course, be a better one, but gluten-free does exist when it comes to beer. So you got to start thinking about, when is my sinuses clogged up? Gosh, every time I drink beer, every time I eat wheat, every time I eat dairy products. The problem is that most people eat wheat and dairy every day, and they don't realize that there's a way to fix that. So my challenge to you, I've given you this challenge before, no wheat, no dairy. Let's do that 7 days. I'd say 14, but I'll give you 7. Give me 7 days, not a bite, not a nibble, nothing. Let's see how we feel. Then, on this 8th day, go out and have some pizza, which is wheat and dairy together, and see how you feel. If I'm wrong, so what? I'm wrong. You didn't eat wheat and dairy for a week. Nothing lost. Didn't cost you anything. If I'm right, which I am, then you'll say, oh my gosh, now I understand it. And what most people do when they follow our advice, they start doing what we're doing, whether it's chiropractic care, we try to do chiropractic and nutrition together, and patients start to feel really good. And then they say, I don't need to do this anymore, and they stop, or they take a break. And then the problem comes back, and then they either say, well, it didn't work. Well, it didn't work. She didn't finish your treatment plan. Or number 2, they come begging back. Oh, please take me back. Please take me back. And we always take them back. And then they finish their treatment plan. Don't do that. Just finish the treatment plans that we give you. Now, when it comes to nutrition, there is no treatment plan. Nutrition is forever. Chiropractic care, we can put bones back in place and take the stress off the joints. And we like to do maintenance on our patients. I mean, I get adjusted. Joe, my producer, gets adjusted. All my staff gets adjusted on a regular basis just to maintain our health. But if you have an initial issue, it may take several weeks, not every day, but several weeks to get everything under control. So if you have a health issue, who's a chiropractic patient? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, sciatica, muscle weakness, bad posture, sinus issues, digestive issues, come see us. Stop suffering. Biggest complaint I get, why, Dr. Joe, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer all these years? And my answer is, I don't know. You could have come to see us a long time ago. I've been in the same building, same practice, 37 years. I missed a half a day of work in 37 years. Now, since then, we've opened up other practices, but I'm still in the main building, in the main practice. And so you could have come to us 37 years ago, but now is the time. You can go to our website, drjoe.com, book an appointment right online. You can call us if you want to book an appointment. Normally, the first visit is $712. And now the x-rays alone, if you do the exam, the x-rays, the consultation, the first treatment, going over the x-rays, complete nutrition evaluation, that's $712. We've reduced that to $299. Okay? As they said in my favorite movie, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Come see us. Stop suffering. The x-rays alone cost probably around $299. Plus, we're giving everything else. We want to get you in here because we want to make sure that you're as healthy as you can possibly be. You, as a listener of the show, are an ambassador. Once you learn what I teach you, you got to go out and teach other people. That's your job. You're hooked now. Sorry. Once you listen, that's the deal. So do it right now, drjoe.com. We accept any insurance you have. We work with the insurance company, in-network, out-of-network. If you don't have insurance, that's fine. It's very, very, very affordable. Plus, we have payment plans if you need them. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be making an appointment right now, this minute, drjoe.com. And if you're ever in a car accident, please, I'm on my knees begging you, come see us immediately. The longer the damage has time to set up shop, the harder it is to fix it. And also, if you didn't cause the accident, the other person's insurance company is going to try to not pay you. And the easiest thing they can do is say, well, you didn't go to the doctor. You didn't keep your appointments. We're going to deny your claim. And then you got to fight it. Now, you can fight it and you can win, but why do that? Just do what we say, and it's a lot easier. So, drjoe.com, book your appointment right now. Do it right now, drjoe.com. All right, other things signs and symptoms you might have something wrong and you think you're healthier than you are. We talked about sinus issues and headaches because headaches are a big issue. And I have a traumatic brain injury. I got hit by a car when I was 10 years old. So I have a traumatic brain injury, and I have headache flare-ups every now and then. So I did exactly what I told you to do. I wrote down everything I ate, and I realized that things like monosodium glutamate cause my headaches. And where is it found? Well, Chinese food, but really high in Thai food. And the reason is that you put monosodium glutamate in something called fish sauce. So if you like Thai food, like me, I love Thai food, make sure you always, whether you have headaches or not, whether you have any issues or not, no fish sauce. It tastes fine. But fish sauce, the monosodium glutamate, can really cause bad reactions. And I've done shows on aspartame and monosodium glutamate already, but trust me, it's one of the worst things you could put in your body. So if you're going to eat it, even Chinese foods, a lot of restaurants will say no added MSG. What's the key word there? Added. They don't add extra, but many times MSG is in the soy sauce or it's in the sauces that they use already. So just notice when you eat certain foods if you get a headache. Now, in the first book that I wrote, Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a whole chapter on hidden names for monosodium glutamate. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, natural flavors can be monosodium glutamate. It could be other things too, but autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, there's a lot of things that I like, and as I'm a vegan, I don't eat animal products, but a lot of things they'll add autolyzed yeast to give it a savory, rich flavor, kind of like meat would flavor it. I can't do it. I get headaches. So is it tough? Not really. There's so many other foods. Don't think about what you can't eat. Think about what you can eat. Well, Dr. Joe, what do you mean? I can't eat hamburgers anymore? No, you can eat 120,000 other foods. And you can even eat veggie burgers if you want to. There's some good ones out there. But there's so many good foods out there, healthy foods. And once you start eating the right foods, once you start getting chiropractic care, once you start working on your digestive system, you'll say what everybody else says. Why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer so many years? And I had total control of my health all the time, and I didn't know it. Now, we can't fix everything, but I think you should come see us, drjoe.com. So we're talking today about your sneaky signs that you're not as healthy as you think you are. And another issue is vision. We talked a little bit about if you have cataracts, you start getting halos. People of all ages and genders, you suffer from poor vision. I wear glasses. It happens to a lot of us. Now, it's an unfortunate part of aging, but sudden vision changes is what I want you to think about. Okay, all of a sudden I can't see right. I remember I was driving one day and I saw a flash in the left side of my eye. And I looked, I didn't see anything. Then it happened again. Then it happened again. And it kept happening. And I thought, okay, this is not coincidence. Something's wrong. So I called my eye doctor, and she came in. Actually, it was on a Sunday. And she came in because it was an emergency. And she looked at it, and she says, okay, as you get older, you get little tears, like a little retina. She goes, it's no big deal. It'll heal itself. You'll never know what happened. Well, good. I got it checked. It happened. I was good. She said, I'm so glad you came in because it could have been something more serious. So if you have pain, if you have vision issues, folks, always consider that it could be something worse. And let's get it checked. Go to your eye doctor. Go to your chiropractor. Go to your orthopedist, neurologist, neurosurgeon, a psychiatrist, whatever it is, and get these things checked. You know, we talked about depression a couple of weeks ago, and especially with the environment that we're in now, a lot of people are starting to come out of this world, and we had a normalcy. Then we switched to the new norm. And now we're switching back to a new norm. And that's very stressful on the psyche. And that can be depressing. So I support 100% getting some therapy if you need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And therapy is great. And I think everybody should have to go to therapy, because the 3 things that we have to do in our lives that we're never taught in school: how to have a relationship, how to make money, and how to take care of ourselves. The 3 things that are never taught in school are the 3 things that are probably more important than anything else. And so I wish and I hope that people like you are able to spread the word of what I'm trying to teach you. In fact, a lot of schools and colleges use these shows as teaching aids. I have people all the time say, "Oh, hey, you're Dr. Joe. Hey, man, you taught my college class on women's health issues." I said, "I did?" Professors took the show off the website because I gave everybody permission to use it, and they used it as a teaching tool. So I'm happy. If you are a teacher, by the way, feel free to do this and share this information. If you're a podcast junkie, go to our website, drjoe.com. We have audio and video. We have like over 2,000 hours of podcasts. If you use a podcast service, whatever it is, type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And whatever podcast service you're using, we have our podcast there as well. And then you can spend time on the podcast learning what you want to learn, and then share those links. I also want you to follow us on social media. Our handle is @Dr. Joe Esposito. And the reason I say that is we post almost every day. We post fun facts. We post recipes. Sometimes we have giveaways. We gave away concert tickets in the past. We've given away supplements. So you definitely want to be able to be part of the cool kids and follow us @Dr. Joe Esposito. Again, it's free. It costs you nothing. So there's no reason not to do it. And if you do want to make an appointment, drjoe.com to come see us in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. And we really want to be your doctors. We want to help get you well and keep you well. And it's really easy once you learn how to do it. I don't know how to fix a car. My father tried teaching me. I didn't quite have that desire to learn how to fix cars. But if you know how to fix cars, you can fix cars. But you had to learn. If you played a piano, somebody had to teach you. Well, I want to teach you how to get well and stay well, and then you can share this information with everybody you know. So again, the website, drjoe.com. As far as vision goes, let me go back a little bit here. I have macular degeneration. I was told many years ago that I was going to go blind. Nothing you can do about it. So I started taking, of course, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, nitric oxide, B-complex, digestive enzymes, and my macular degeneration is getting better and better and better. If you go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in macular degeneration, you can see pictures of my eyes. Those are my eyes. And you can see the macular degeneration getting better and better as the years have gone on. My eye doctor said there's no way this is happening. No one gets better from macular degeneration. Either stays the same, usually gets worse, and that's just how it is. So they sent in my case to the Macular Degeneration Society or whatever. Never heard back from them. And I thought, oh my gosh, guys, your whole life is researching, your whole purpose is researching macular degeneration. Here's a case. Why don't you learn from what I've done? Never heard back from, which is kind of disappointing. But you don't have to be ignorant like that. You can go ahead and get yourself well and stay well. And that's why the website's such a great source of information, drjoe.com. So again, if your vision suddenly changes, it can become a big serious issue, and you definitely want to get that checked. If you have dry eyes, now that can be just allergies. It could just be you're not drinking enough water, not getting enough fat in your diet, but it also could be a sign of hepatitis C. So dry eye syndrome is most frequently observed in hepatitis C infections. So if you have dry eyes and you might have some other symptoms, yellow skin, yellow eyes, you might want to get a blood test done. And I have no problem people getting blood tests done, MRIs, CAT scans, x-rays, because that gives us information. And to know is important. Otherwise, we're guessing. And that's why I can't believe a lot of doctors treat their patients without tests, especially chiropractors who just go in and start racking and cracking. Not my idea of a smart treatment. Folks, going to have to go to break real soon. If you have any questions, you can always send questions through our website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with us. What we're talking about today are signs and symptoms that you're unhealthier than you think. And the reason I'm doing this show is because patients come to us all the time, and they say, well, Dr. Joe, I'm really pretty good shape. I'm pretty healthy. And then we sit down and start taking their history. It's like, oh, my gosh, you're a mess. So we want to find out what these signs and symptoms mean, because they're telling you that there's something wrong. And it's always the people I think that are healthiest are usually the sickest, which is kind of interesting. And again, it's all about denial. I'm not going to admit that I have a problem, and you can't just, deny away healthcare problems. So we talked a little earlier about discoloration of the skin and of the eyes. Even a slight yellowing of the whites of the eyes and the skin could be a sign of liver issues, pancreas issues, gallbladder issues. And so if you start turning yellow, you may have no symptoms, and you want to take note of that. I had a friend of mine, unfortunately, a pancreatic cancer, and he turned yellow, and he went to the doctors, and they said, oh, it's just your gallbladder. We're going to put a stent in the gallbladder. Don't worry about it. And that didn't work. And so I said, you need to go get a scan, body scan. And sure enough, he did. And sure enough, he had pancreatic cancer. So just if you have a little discoloration, go get tested, guys. It's really simple. And, you got places, was it any lab test, I think it's called, or any test? I don't have no affiliation with them whatsoever. But you can walk into there and they have a menu and say, I want to get my hormones tested. I want to get tested for social diseases. I want to get my liver tested. You pay them cash. They do the test. It's done. You have to use your own name, to be honest. You're not supposed to do that, though, by the way. And you can get tests done. And so it's real simple, real easy. It's anonymous. And so you don't have to go through the doctor to get all these tests ordered. So it's just a little trick you can do to get things checked. Other signs and symptoms that you might have, you might be unhealthier than you think. If you're tired all the time. Now, I think everybody's tired all the time. But fatigue can be related to a number of different issues. So you want to talk to your doctor to try to narrow down the potential diagnosis. Now, this is called differential diagnosis. You come in and you say, Dr. Joe, I have low back pain. My team of doctors, we do what's called a differential diagnosis and come up with a working diagnosis. This is how healthcare works, and no one's ever explained this to you. So you come in, all right, you got low back pain, you lifted a rock in your backyard. I'm going to assume with my working diagnosis that it was a traumatic injury to the back, strained sprain, you pinched a nerve. Let's get some chiropractic care, put the bones back in place, maybe get some therapies involved with that, and you should be fine. Well, then we have to say, is that the case? Let's do some x-rays. We do an x-ray, we see something isn't right. Well, let's send you out for an MRI. MRI comes back. MRI is for soft tissue. Soft tissue is anything but bone. We can do a CAT scan for bone. So we may have to do different tests to do a differential diagnosis to find out what the problem is. And that's really important that you understand that. So if you're tired all the time, you want to have a good diagnostician. And there's not a lot of us around, unfortunately. You go in, you got back pain, here's some pills, go home. Could be a ruptured disc, could be a tumor, could be a fractured bone. I fractured my back playing football, I guess, when I was a kid. I played years of football and hockey, severe back pain, crying after every event. Finally, at 18 years old, I had an x-ray. The chiropractor said, you have a fracture at your fifth lumbar. I said, oh my gosh, I've been in pain for about 6 years. He goes, yeah, you did a lot of damage in those 6 years. Should have never played football and hockey, especially with a fractured back. But I didn't go for a differential diagnosis. We were poor. We didn't go to doctors. Suck it up. You're fine. Tighten your shoes. I remember my coach saying, your shoes are too loose. Tighten your shoes. Well, I had a fracture in my low back. Tightening my shoes didn't help. So if you're tired all the time, it's really important that you get a differential diagnosis. It can occur if you have things along with it, like weight loss, night sweats, you bruise easily, lumps and bumps under the skin. This could be something really serious, even as bad as cancer. Other issues that can cause symptoms could be viral infections. Of course, if you have a virus you're sick, you might have HIV. HIV can make you tired. Rheumatoid arthritis. It could be a lot of autoimmune diseases. So if you're tired all the time, don't just blow it off and drink more coffee. You want to try to get to the cause of that problem, not just treat the symptoms. And many times, I tell horror stories in my life, but a friend of mine who ran a restaurant in Atlanta, he worked a night shift. And he was overweight. He was tired all the time. And I told him, Jim, you really should get this checked. I got a kid. I'm tired. I work nights. Well, eventually he got diagnosed with leukemia and he didn't make it. So it's not something you want to just blow off. Get it checked. It's worth the investment. Trust me. It's a very, very small price to pay to find out that there's nothing wrong. Or if there is something wrong, what to do about it. The earlier we as doctors can get to your healthcare problem, the better off we're going to be. Whether it's cancer or back pain or acid reflux or skin conditions or liver, whatever it is, the sooner we get a diagnosis, the higher the chances of getting a positive resolution from it. So if you have health issues, if you have neck pain, back pain, headache, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, muscle weakness, please come see us. The earlier we get you in, the better off we're going to be. Well, Doc, I'm busy, but you know what? If you don't take time for your health, you're going to have to take time to be sick. And it's just that simple. And when patients come to us in the later stages of whatever their condition is, every one of them across the board says the same thing. I wish I'd gotten here sooner. I was too stubborn. I was too busy. I had things coming up. You can get in and out of our office on a first visit probably in an hour, especially if you fill out the paperwork in advance. And a regular visit in our office is only about 10 or 15 minutes. It's very quick. And then we have other doctors. So if your doctor is booked up, you could always see one of our other doctors. So we're here to help you. We do everything we can to make it easy for you. And I don't know what else we can do. If you have any suggestions on how to make it easier to be a patient, please email me and let me know. And if it's reasonable, we'll do it. Now, if you do have questions, you can send them to me through the website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. There's a little bot that pops up on the side of the screen, says you want to chat, and it'll pop up. You type in your question, you type in your email address, and if you're online, we'll get back to you right away. If we can't get back to you right away, please understand we're going to get to you. Every week or two, somebody gets rude on the website, like, I just typed in a question. It's been 5 minutes. Why don't you answer your questions? Maybe I was in the bathroom. Maybe I was seeing patients. So please understand, if you put in your email address, we should get back to you. If it's a day or two we don't get back to you, then you could send us another email and say, hey, what's up? But we always get back to our patients within a reasonable amount of time. So I just got on my soapbox there for something. All right, so if you're tired all the time, let's find out why. It could be dehydrated, could be your diet, could be your low in nitric oxide, could be your low in B vitamins. You need Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Side note, everybody should be taking Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. If you're on blood thinners, there's a caveat to that. It's on the website explaining what you need to do. Still take it. It explains what to do, though. So if you just looking for a starting point, just looking for what's Nutrition 101? Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Now, I would add vitamin D to that as we get a little more. You get to, from yellow belt to white belt to yellow belt, whatever it is. And I would add vitamin D. I would take digestive enzymes every time I eat a cooked meal, B complex, adrenal support, men's hormone support, or women's hormone support, depending what you are. Estrogen regulator. If you're childbearing years, if you're going through perimenopause, do not take estrogen regulator. Men should take estrogen regulator every day. I do. So there's a lot of supplements on the website. There's a lot of different supplements. We have things to help the immune system. We have things if you are sick, if you try not to get sick. So we have a lot of supplements out there, and they're on the website, drjoe.com. No promises, no guarantees. This is what I take. People say, well, Dr. Joe, I want to do what you do. Great. If you don't know what to eat, go to our website and type in, so what can I eat in the search bar. Listen to an hour lecture that I did on what to eat. We've also done a lecture on the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, the 7 foods you want to avoid. And if you're new to the show, you get to hear them today. Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. I know that's most of your diets. I got to say this. You don't have to do everything right away. Because I've had people come in and say, Dr. Joe, I'm going to come to you for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I was just afraid of you. I was afraid I'm not willing to give up all my meat. Well, then don't. That's okay. Any baby step is better than what you're doing right now. And we'll take baby steps. We'll take giant steps. Whatever you need, we will coach you to get to that level. So there's no reason not to do it. And that works for your spouses, your kids, everything. We've got plans for everybody, folks. 37 years. It's very rare somebody asks me a question that I haven't heard before. So if you want to become a patient, drjoe.com. And normally the first visit is $712. We've reduced that to $299. The x-rays alone cost more than that. The exam, the x-rays, the consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, complete nutrition evaluation. Folks, it's an offer you can't refuse. So get in the office. We accept whatever your insurance is. We accept it. We'll work with it if it's in network, out of network. Car accidents, sports injuries. If you're a VA member, if the VA sends you to us, VA pays for your treatment. We want to get you well and keep you well. drjoe.com. You can book an appointment. Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Back to my topics here. If you're stressed out all the time, this can be a sign that there's something wrong. And you just think, well, my boss is a jerk. My wife is a pain in the fanny. My kids are driving me crazy. Stress is something that far too many people let themselves get accustomed to. And they don't realize that it can take a major toll on your health. When you're under stress, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is released by the adrenal glands, and it's your stress hormone. If you have cortisol high throughout the day and every day, it becomes very serious. It can lead to very serious diseases, even be deadly. So some people like to function in a high-stress environment, but they don't always notice the pressure and what it's doing to their lives, their family lives, their romantic lives. It impacts your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your digestive system, and that can lead to an array of health problems like heart disease, irritable bowel syndrome, headaches. So, for example, there's 2 types of nerves in your body. Sympathetic nerves speed you up. Parasympathetic nerves slow you down. So there are certain functions that work really well, let's say in the parasympathetic mode. Sleep, sex, going to the bathroom, pleasant time with your family. When you're bonding with someone, you're releasing hormones called oxytocin, which is a bonding neurotransmitter. Dopamine is a pleasure neurotransmitter. If you're always in this sympathetic mode and you're not downshifting to the parasympathetic mode, you're missing out on a lot of these other parts. You can't run in high gear forever. And people may do cocaine, they may do coffee, they may do alcohol to try to relax. They're trying to shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic. That's not good. If you're one of those people that say, Dr. Joe, I have to have a glass of wine at night to unwind, something's wrong. That's just an excuse. It's not a reason, it's an excuse. My friend Larry always said, there's a reason and there's an excuse. So we want to get to the cause of your problem and not just treat the symptoms. So if you're stressed out all the time, maybe you're not digesting your food properly. Maybe you have pinched nerves, pain. Pain can be very stressful. Pain can affect your sleep, can affect your moods, can affect how you interact with people. So my team of doctors, we're really good at getting rid of pain. So again, drjoe.com if you want to make an appointment. But there's physical, chemical, and emotional stress. The physical stress, we're pretty good at. Chemical stress is what you eat. Dr. Joe, I have to have my diet soda every day. Okay, aspartame, bad for you. Caramel color that they add to sodas, some of them are bad for you, carcinogenic. Other things that they may add to it, the phosphoric acid can rob the body of calcium. So I understand you have to have your diet soda every day. However, why? I'm tired all the time. Okay, well, what can we do about that? How about we take something like Dr. Joe's B complex, Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support. Most people that are stressed out are low in nitric oxide. And we can test your nitric oxide. We have little strips. I tested mine this morning. And you put a little spit on it, and you look at it, and it's color code. And it should be bright pink. Mine was bright pink. So my nitric oxide levels, right where they should be. Tons of energy. B complex, adrenal support, water. Something as simple as water can give you energy. Many of you are dehydrated. You should be peeing about once an hour. Now, I have to stop drinking around 3 o'clock in the afternoon because otherwise I wake up at night and I pee. And so I drink most of my fluids in the morning, and then I have to get up at night. So a lot of things we can do. Maybe you need an herbal tea like chamomile. I don't recommend melatonin. People take melatonin to sleep. I don't recommend it. It has adverse side effects, long-term use. And if you take it once or twice, then you might say, well, I like this. I might try it some more. But many times when you stop the exciting things you do in your body, when I say exciting, let's talk about food. Caffeine, sugar, wheat, dairy products, meat. Meat's very acidic, very stimulating. Cigarettes, nicotine, very acidic, very stimulating. The 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, very acidic, very exciting to the nervous system. So if you're having trouble sleeping, maybe you want to shift from having steak at night, maybe to shift to something a little healthier. Maybe a salad, maybe some quinoa, maybe some stir-fried vegetables. Shift and watch what happens. And then you have to be objective. And again, you might argue with me and say, well, Dr. Joe, that's just coincidence that I stopped eating those excitatory foods and now I'm sleeping better. Maybe it is. So what? Do it anyway. Remember years ago, I had a patient come to me and she said, you know, Dr. Joe, I had terrible headaches for years every day. And since I've been coming here, my headaches are gone. You think that's a coincidence? You think it's psychosomatic? And my answer to her was, what if it is? So what? You came here to get rid of headaches, and your headaches are gone. Who cares what it is? Now, I know it's not psychosomatic. Her bone was out of place, pinching a nerve in her neck. We put the bone back in place, and the headaches went away. Very, very simple. And patients get aggravated with me sometimes because they say, it can't be that easy. I said, maybe it's not, but let's start easy, and let's build it up from there. We don't have to start with brain surgery. Let's start out something simple. Let's cut out the aspartame. Let's get chiropractic care. Let's drink more water. Let's take some super greens, some essential source, some nitric oxide, some B complex. And let's see what happens. And we'll give it a week or two, and then we can escalate if we need to or alter the treatment plan. But in most cases, we don't have to. And that's what's cool about after 37 years, I'm still out of my mind excited to come to work every day. And so there's no reason why you shouldn't be enjoying and reaping all these benefits. You have access to us. I had somebody I remember at one time call from Romania, send me an email, and he wanted me to go teach in Romania to the medical students. And I said, I don't have time. And he got very angry with me. And I've had offers to teach in Canada, Japan, Guam, I think of other places. because the show goes all over the world, of course. I believe with all the shows we do, we're the #1 health radio show in the world. And so people from all over the world send me emails, and I appreciate that, by the way. And so if you have access to all this information, why wouldn't you use it? And as of right now, we don't even charge for this. We do this all at no charge. We give you our website, drjoe.com, over 2,000 hours of podcasts. If you're a podcast service, just type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. And you have access there. Can't make it easier for you, folks. The only thing I can do easier is maybe come to your house, and I'm not going to do that. So that's where I draw the line. Other signs and symptoms that you're unhealthier than you think. You're depressed. Now, we all get depressed periodically. As the REM once said, everybody hurts sometimes. And it's true. But many times, long-term issues could be due to something as simple as vitamin D deficiency. Most of us are deficient in vitamin D because we're not outside all day, every day. And the only way you can get vitamin D is sunlight interacting with your skin or taking it as a supplement. Vitamin D deficiency, an individual is more likely to experience depression since vitamin D receptors, where it's absorbed, help regulate mood. Now, Dr. Joe's vitamin D on the website, drjoe.com, along with Super Greens and Essential Source and all the other supplements. The least expensive insurance policy you'll ever buy. It's pennies a day to give somebody vitamin D. I take 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D every day. So here's my challenge to you. Get a bottle. It's liquid. Take 5 drops a day. Do it for a month. Ideally, you want to get your vitamin D levels tested. If you're doing blood work, always ask the doctor to test your vitamin D levels. Years ago, they didn't do it. Now they do. I'd like to think maybe I was a little part of that, jumping up and down and screaming. And most people are deficient in vitamin D unless you're out in the sun all day or you're taking a supplement. So normal, they'll say like 30 is the level. I want you around 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. 60 to 80 is when a lot of diseases can't set up shop in your body. Kind of cool. There's a lot of research on that. So vitamin D, awesome. If you're depressed, it could be a digestive issue. You might be breaking down your foods properly, which can prevent you from absorbing amino acids, and amino acids become neurotransmitters in your brain. Could be a vitamin D deficiency. Could be that you're living on junk food. It could be that you actually have a reason to be depressed. Death of a loved one, #1 stress that we experience as humans. #2 is moving. Moving to a new job, moving to a new relationship, moving to a new house. How about moving to a new lifestyle? All of us had to shift our lifestyle in the past 2 years. And so that could be something that's causing depression as well. And if you go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in the word depression, we did a really good show on that. And you could listen to that. And any topic you're looking for, by the way, go to our website, drjoe.com, type in what you're looking for. And chances are we've done a show on it. We've done an article on it, a blog on it. We've answered questions for other listeners. So the website's a great source of information, drjoe.com. And you could look at that. Other signs you may not be as healthy as you think you are. Skin tags. My mother had a derogatory term for them about Italians. I won't say it on the air because we have to be sensitive now. If you have unsightly skin tags, especially around your eyes, that could be a sign of high cholesterol. If you have yellow skin tags around your eyes, you definitely want to get your cholesterol checked because that could be a sign that the cholesterol is high and that you have to do something about it. And I do recommend you do something about it. Go to our website, drjoe.com, listen to the show we did on cholesterol. We've done a lot of shows, folks. We've done 3,000 hours of shows, all on the website, drjoe.com. And I get excited because I can see how many people are. I can't see that you're on the website, but I can see how many people. And it's exciting when I look at it. I go, oh my gosh, we've got 20, 30, 50, 100 people on the website. It's really kind of cool. Now, here's the thing. If you send me a question through the website and me and Joe, my producer, answer the questions for you, you're on the site. We cannot see what you're looking at. So people will say, Dr. Joe, is this a good product for children? I don't know what product you're looking at. You have to tell me. Hey, Dr. Joe, what's your opinion on this based on the show I'm watching? I don't know what show you're watching. So please give us a little more information. We all appreciate that. Other signs and symptoms you're not as healthy as you should be. Pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. If you have pinched nerves, that can cause pain. But here's the thing, 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve and not know it. For example, you don't feel your blood pressure. It's controlled by nerves. You don't feel your kidneys. It's controlled by nerves. You don't feel your spleen, your prostate, your adrenal glands. So our doctors are trained not only to test the nerves that feel pain, we also test the nerves that don't feel pain. Because if we take you on as a patient, we don't want to get you out of pain. We want to get you well. There's a difference, okay? I can give you drugs and get you out of pain. Doesn't mean we fixed anything. We want to fix the cause of the pain, and then hopefully you won't need as many medications. I cannot take you off medication. That's your primary care doctor's job. But what I can do is get you healthy enough so you don't need it. In many cases, not always. So if you have pain, don't ignore it. That's telling you that there's something very wrong. And you want to go ahead and get that fixed as quickly as possible. And in most cases, it's pretty easy to fix. Not all, but most. And so you're going to have to make a commitment, maybe, 6 to 8 weeks of coming in for treatment. It's not a one and done. So if you think you're going to come see us once and it's going to be fixed, it's not going to happen. Don't waste your time and don't take up a slot. Also, while I'm on my soapbox, if you make an appointment, please show up. We reserve an hour slot for you, taking out doctors, our staff, our rooms offline, basically, ready for you to come in. If you don't show up, you took that slot away from somebody else. That's not nice. That's bad karma. Because we have people waiting to come see us. And when we give you a slot, that's yours. We call and confirm the night before. Please show up. And if you can't show up, call us days in advance to free up that slot so that somebody else can take that slot. It's just not nice. And all doctors have a big issue with compliance. Patients think, well, I'm not going to go. It doesn't matter. No, you cost the company a lot of money and you affected a lot of lives because you didn't show up for that appointment. Please don't do that. Okay, I'm begging you on that. So, other signs you're not as healthy as you might be. You have changes in your fingernails. If you have black spots in your fingernails, white spots in your fingernails, ridges in your fingernails, these can all be signs that there's something wrong. Could be heart, could be liver. If you have a crease in both your ears, your earlobe is essentially split. That could be a sign of heart disease. So many times you think it's no big deal. It really is a big deal. And that's what we try to do. When our doctors come in, we'll do our interview with you, but we're looking at you. We're looking at your reaction, watching your eyes, watching your mouth, watching how you move your muscles. All of this is part of the differential diagnosis that we do with our patients. And we talk to you and we want to know how you're responding. I've had already people come in and they've had a stroke and no one diagnosed it. And we look at them and one side of the face is drooping and spit's running out of their mouth. No one diagnosed that? Let's get you to a neurosurgeon right away or a neurologist. This is maybe out of the chiropractic realm into the medical realm. Most things are in the chiropractic realm. They should be going from medicine to chiropractic, but sometimes we have to go chiropractic to medicine. And that's why we work with so many doctors. And we're even set up a referral network called Health Plus Connections. We're working on that, not just for doctors, but for all businesses that are concerned about their health. And that's upcoming. I'm just kind of giving you a little tease there. All right, folks, I'm almost out of time. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Social media, please follow us at Dr. Joe Esposito. We send a lot of good information out there. Costs you nothing, and it helps spread the word of what we're doing. And if you have any questions, you can always call the office, too, if you don't want to send it through the website. But we want to get you well and keep you well. And all the supplements we talk about, Super Green, Central Source, Nitric Oxide, B Complex, Vitamin D, all available at our offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, and on our website.